Welcome back to Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each one of these videos is less than 666 seconds, or, you know it, 11 minutes and 6 seconds. So let's not waste a moment. Going back to Idaho, talking about the Idaho 4 case and the issue of the black jacket there on the side of the road. And it's one that's been in the comments a lot here lately, so I wanted to do a video. But remember, my videos are for informational purposes only. They're not, saying anybody's guilty of anything. Everything's alleged, and these are just opinions and speculation. Okay, so I recently saw a video from the chaos sector that was very interesting regarding that black jacket that was found on Taylor Avenue in Moscow. Many of you have been asking for my thoughts about it, been seeing it in the comments and wondering if it was indeed Maddies. And I find, I've had this subject on my radar now for about a month, maybe a little more. This video was just kind of the spark that made me say, you know what, I need to do something on this as well. So hats off to the chaos sector. It was a good video. I'll link to that down below. I do like most of their content, and like all the creators, their channel isn't for everyone, but neither am I. So I dig what they do. Certainly worth checking out. Now, when it comes to the black jacket and whether it was Maddies was a question that I had since I heard about this. And the chaos sector video shows a close-up of the jacket when the Moscow PD officers pick it up. And the video was shot by a news station. You can see a white patch or possibly a tear in the jacket, which I'm going to guess is somewhere around the left front pocket or side pocket. It appears to be the same one that you see Maddie wearing at the Corner Club and the Grub Truck. They do some good side by side. And it looks like that tear or patch is in the same area on both of the jackets. So very likely that it is the same one. And I'm going to go off of that assumption based on that. I think that was pretty good evidence. And I'm not sure how soon after the crimes the police were there. I didn't find that easily, but I'm assuming within, days of this. We have no idea how they found out about the jacket. Did someone walking their dog see it? Or was it, someone who maybe knew it was there, called them anonymously? Who knows, right? This video of the two cops is partially obscured by some trees, but you can see them pick the jacket up. Doesn't look like they've got gloves on. And I wonder, is that how you're collecting evidence here? They didn't even collect it because they just tossed it to the ground like it was trash, which just blows my mind that you wouldn't have put this in an evidence bag to take it with you. I mean, even if you're not sure it was Maddie's jacket, gosh, with a case like this, if they were truly trying to find who did this, that would be a key piece of evidence potentially, especially if it was a victim's jacket. And the way it was so big on her, I wonder if it was her boyfriend's jacket that maybe she borrowed. And if you were a normal police department, I think that's how you would act. But we all know that in Moscow, all bets are off, and it is not a normal place. It's like Twin Peaks over there. And if I had $1 for every time I said things weren't right over there in Moscow, I think I could take my wife out to a very nice dinner. So that's how many times I've been saying how crazy this town is. Now, just that in of itself is puzzling, okay? But when you really watch the video, it appears that the officers are taking something out of the jacket. Whether it was in a pocket or wrapped up in it, it's hard to tell. But the image appears to, or the object appears to be black. And at first I thought it was like a big flashlight, like a mag light or something like that. But upon closer inspection, it does appear to have a slight curve to it. So it could potentially be a knife in a sheath. a small machete in like a scabbard or something like that. The video I watched mentioned it could be a hatchet or a double-headed hatchet, and I could see any of those objects being weapons that were used in this case, because we know that the reports have been that these wounds were not the same. So I believe there were multiple people, multiple weapons. So was this an object that was used as a weapon in the crimes? We don't know. But it certainly is very highly suspicious, in my opinion. Now, in case you're not familiar with the location of this jacket, this would be very close to the fire hydrant there on Taylor Avenue, where the cops park their undercover car in that Banfield video. It was just a couple of feet from the road in this little wooded area. And that possible location for a weapon that could have been used in the crimes wrapped up in a jacket, that the victims were wearing, is very suspicious that it's right there next to this car, the police car. I mean, how many coincidences can we possibly have in this case? Taylor Avenue is the road that runs next to the Banfield, with the Greek row houses on the other side of Banfield. So this fire hydrant was maybe about 50 yards, I'm going to guess, from 1122 King Road, down a short alley and up a staircase, and you're there. So if somebody was coming from the house, they could have easily ditched whatever they were holding in this area on their way to walking toward the frat houses. Very suspicious, right? Is that how it ended up there? We don't know. Now, I wonder if it was one of these three guys that get stopped by the police in the Banfield video for alcohol, use or whatever nonsense that was. Did they toss it there because they saw cops around? Or could it have been tossed from a vehicle that was driving by out the passenger window? Either of those scenarios is certainly possible. And when the cops take the object from the jacket, they turn away from the news cameras, and the jacket is just tossed back on the ground. So very, very suspicious, as always, with the Moscow PD. Now, if that was a weapon, I am uncertain why the police would have tossed the jacket to the ground. If they were trying to make the weapon, let's say, go away, why not take the jacket too? It would have been full of DNA. It could have been a huge piece of evidence in this case. I mean, really think about that. If it was Maddie's, it would be covered with her DNA, which of course could confirm it was hers. Which could potentially pose a problem if they're trying to pin this on Bryan Kohberger, because how did the jacket end up there 50 yards away from the house? Lots of questions. Plus, not sure if that's going to jive with law enforcement's, belief of how Bryan left the scene and the path that he took. So I'm just not sure. But in either case, they should have taken the jacket. The other question comes into play here is, the possible law enforcement involvement. And, not only because the undercover car was parked right there, but also because they seemed to know exactly what they were doing and what they were there to pick up. If the object was inside the jacket, how would somebody have known that without picking the jacket up? I guess it's possible, but it seems unlikely to me. In any case, I try to eliminate things that just don't make any logical sense. And in this case, there's a lot of that stuff. Now, in my opinion, I feel the most likely thing is that one of the people who did this discarded the weapon in the jacket when they saw the cops at the Banfield. They were spooked to go back and get it for obvious reasons. The place is crawling with police. So maybe, someone walking by it called it in. Who knows, right? But I think that's probably the most likely thing. Was this object a weapon? We don't know. But, why else would the cops be so secretive about it, and turn their backs and not put them in evidence bags and wear gloves and all the things that you expect them to be doing? Why didn't the network report on that? I never heard of anything in the mainstream media at all about this. And that would have been a huge thing, cops playing some kind of games. You know, or is the media, you know, to blame here for this kind of crap going on because they turn a blind eye to it? I just would love to know what happened to the media. They're supposed to be doing their job to keep the powers that be in balance. So not seeing that as of late. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I also love the Horns Eye Club, the members here on the channel. You guys are amazing. You rock. I really appreciate your support. And I appreciate all of you guys that watch these videos. And you give some great feedback in the comments, and I appreciate that. We'll see you next time for 666 Seconds of Murder.